Well, hello. Welcome to our shop. Today we're going to work on something that's going to be a real treat for you bass players. I have this Fender Jazz in. It's going to need some neck work and some electronics work. The owner several years ago bought this replacement neck, which is ebony fingerboard and a rosewood neck. It's a custom neck that he bought for it. But over the years he's developed some really extreme fret wear. There's in fact, if you look at this one, there's almost all the way through the fret. Quite a bit of wear here. So we couldn't save those frets. The neck also has developed some problems, and he's worn that D string off all the way up here. It's worn severely up to like the 12th fret. Sorry, I had to move the camera to count frets. Anyway, so okay. So he's mentioned a few other things here. When he replaced the tuners on this, he actually filed the pins off the back of the tuners, so the tuners tend to want to wobble around. I've tightened them up a little bit so I can start working out. There we go. There's one of them. So we're going to have to do something about that. Like I said, it's developed a few other problems. There's got some kick up in the end of the fingerboard up here that we're going to have to deal with. So a refret is involved. So we're going to tear this down, get the neck on my surrogate body, get the frets out of it, and get moving. I've been doing a lot of nasty guitar repairs lately and amplifier repairs. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to this as a break. Kind of funny I'm referring to a pretty good sized refret here as a break. But anyway, this should be fairly easy compared to what I've been doing. So let's see how it works out. Well, we've got it torn down. We've got the frets out. Man, those frets were tight. Found this under the nut, so somebody's used the old paper shim under the nut trick. I've also taken the truss rod nut out and cleaned it up and lubed it. But look at this neck. I'm thinking there's a strong possibility this may be Brazilian rosewood. Kind of looks like it. If not, it's a really, really nice piece of Indian, but I'm thinking Brazilian. Makes it green a little better. So let's get this sanded down a little bit, get the fret slots cleaned out. Something else I'm finding out here is the radius on this fingerboard is not very consistent at all. We've got a 10-inch radius right here in the front side of the nut, but here we have a 12. Here we have about a 14. Here we have a 10. And up here we've got something slightly more round than a 16. Sort of, but then there's a drop off over here, so it's not even a smooth radius. So I don't know if this is supposed to be a compound radius neck. That's not the case. If it's supposed to be just a straight 10-inch radius, well, that's not the case either. I'll do a little bit more investigating here before I start doing any sanding. Well, we've made it over here to the neck jig, and we've got some preliminary high spots marked out. few issues here. Got a couple humps. Actually, I've been sanding a little bit on it already. We had a hump here and a hump here we still have. This one over here is starting to straighten out. And up here shows us where a kick-up area is. Actually, I've taken some out back here already. Back here. So anyway, I'm going to sand some more. Got some more shaping here too. You can see where things are starting to fall together. But there's a few little dips and humps and bumps in this neck, along with a weird radius. We're going to whip it into shape. I've moved off the neck jig and over here to a bench. Give me more access to the neck here. What we're going to do is press these frets in and glue them. I've already got them cut, radius fitted. The fret slots have been chamfered, the fingerboard's been sanded, and we've waxed up here a little bit to keep any squeeze out from being a problem when we clean it up. 20 frets to go. We can only do 3 at a time here for the first couple rounds, and then we get up here and start doing 4 at a time. Then we're going to move on up here. So it's going to take a while. We've made it back to the neck jig. We have all of our frets in, trimmed, the edges beveled, the edges of the fingerboard's all cleaned up, top of the fretboard's all cleaned up. We're ready to jig this back up, rejig it, and get on with the fret leveling. I checked, it's very level to start with, so we're not going to have to take much off here. Fret work's done. I've got it over here off the neck jig back on the bench. I've taken the tuners off in a string tree because he had issues with the string tree mounting also, so he asked me to take care of that. So my next challenge is to figure out what to do with these. So you can see where he filed the locator pins off on it. So the original plan was to take them apart and try to put a screw or two somewhere where you couldn't see them, but that's not going to work out. So I'm thinking it's probably going to end up with a screw here and here somewhere, probably about where the pins were. So let's get on to that. Alright. Jeez. That bit of ugliness is taken care of. Got it behind me. You would think drilling 2 little holes in a set of tuners would be an easy thing now, wouldn't you? Well, trust me, it wasn't. It'd been a whole lot easier if we just hadn't filed these points off. Anyway, but the point here is what I had to do. I tried drilling this in a drill press. I tried doing it otherwise. What I ended up doing was using diamond point Dremel bits. After heavily center punching this, of course I took the tuners all apart to do it. I'd even made a little jig to set it in to put on the drill press for knot. Anyway, so ended up using these diamond pointed Dremel bits to actually grind through this and then clean them up with a drill. So 2 diamond pointed Dremel bits later and 3 drill bits, I have a set of tuners I can screw on the guitar so I can keep them from spinning. Man, okay, let's get on to the other stuff. Let's get these on. So the tuning machines are all mounted nice, neat, and square. I did leave the original screw holes for the tuners that were drilled in the neck originally. It's never had screws in them alone. I didn't want to try to plug those and match, you know. I'm sure this is Brazilian. This is a beautiful neck. Look at this thing. That is a really nice piece of rosewood. Anyway, let's fix a couple of chips back here we've got around the mounting holes. I found some wood in the neck cavity when I took it off. You can see where it's been pulled from not having proper pilot holes drilled. So I'm going to clean all that up and get this neck bolted on this bass. I've got my nut rough cut, so I've got it ready to put in too. So back to the game in progress. Alright, well, 11 hours later, in a few minutes, here is what we have. We have a refretted ebony fingerboard. We have a new nut. We have a remounted string tree. We have remounted tuners. We fixed his electronics. He had a problem there with some issues with it where he had some humming and stuff cutting in and out. Took care of all that. We've cleaned and set his pickup heights, his intonation. Everything's working properly. This bass is in great shape at this point. So, we'll let it settle here for about a week before we let him have it back. Probably have to readjust neck a few times as it settles in. But he's good to go. So I hope you enjoyed that. That was a bit of a journey. Shame you couldn't be here for all of it. So, till next time, play nice.